Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a game that I've been playing a bit recently. It's a free-to-play game on the PC. It's called Blacklight Retribution. Now at first glance, Blacklight Retribution is a multiplayer first-person shooter with a little bit of a futuristic touch on it, but the game has actually really decided to break some rules that perhaps some of the bigger developers wouldn't, and they've changed up the first-person shooter game style quite a bit with some very interesting game mechanics. Now this right here that you see where the world is blue and I see bad guys as orange, that is my HRV visor, and every single player in this game has that available to them. It recharges fairly quickly. The little recharge bar is in the bottom right corner, and basically every few seconds I can activate this HRV visor, see where everybody is in relation to me, and plan my tactics around that. Now this is probably the game's most dangerous and bold mechanic that a lot of people wouldn't go about doing, because it basically does, it's like giving everybody wall hacks. Now you don't know where everybody is all the time, like you can see where they are and then you basically just have to plan your attack accordingly, but it can be kind of interesting when you come up to a major corner and you see a guy and you know he sees you, and you basically have this one corner to move around where you know that each other on the other side of it, whereas in other shooters you kind of just have to use the sound in your environment and other cues and stuff like that to try and figure out where your enemies are, but you usually don't know, like with 100% certainty, where people are. You peek a corner thinking that there might be somebody there, but you don't always know. In Blacklight Retribution you always know where the enemy is. So this mechanic basically serves to speed up gameplay a lot. You don't spend your time running around maps wondering where players might be. You can play in a game where you have 16 players total, so 8 per team, and it can feel very, very action-packed because everybody knows where the action is, everybody knows where the enemy is, and you basically just get into tight firefight situations. Now once you've all been sort of alerted to where the enemy are and you get into these close quarter situations, then the combat becomes just like combat is in any other game. And as you can see, I'm sort of hiding behind this crate from a giant mech, and I'll get to those later. You can actually buy stuff in game while you're playing, upgrade. You can get little deployable turrets, you can get bigger heavy weapons, and you can ultimately get a mech, which is one of the most expensive things that you can buy from an equipment terminal. And those mechs are super slow but super powerful. They have a railgun on one arm and a minigun in the other arm. Now one thing that definitely got me interested in Blacklight Retribution to begin with was the art style. It sort of had this cyberpunk futuristic theme going on, and the uniforms and suits and all that stuff that the players wear and the environments that you fight in all look really cool. It's running on the Unreal Engine, and I can tell that the developers intentionally didn't try and push the system limits. You know, the game itself doesn't like make you go, wow, look at those graphics, but it does make you really appreciate the artistic style and the visuals that the artists are really trying to pull off with the game design. Now there's a large variety of game modes to play in multiplayer, from capture the flag to team deathmatch to domination style gameplay, but this one here, you might see there's a giant four-legged tank with a minigun on it. This is siege mode, where basically the attacking team has to protect the tank and take it through a series of checkpoints, and basically if we take down the tank or they don't take down the checkpoints in time for it, then they lose. So it's very similar to a rush style of game with just an added interesting element right in the middle of it to really keep the gameplay moving along very fast. The rushing team can't afford to sort of hang back and push up very slowly, because you've got this armored tank that's pushing up at its own speed, so you've got to maintain speed with that to keep it alive and actually use it to your advantage, because it's very reactive. If somebody peeks around the corner for too long looking at the tank, it will turn and waste them very quickly with its giant minigun. Now here I'm playing a round of Kill Confirm, which is basically you team deathmatch, but you go and pick up sort of the confirmation off of the dead guys, and you can prevent the enemy team from stealing the confirmation from some of your fallen allies. It's kind of an interesting map, and it's being played on Deadlock here, and this is just a really cool looking map. It sort of looks like cyberpunk Tokyo or China or something really cool. And you might have noticed that I'm using a bunch of different looking guns every time I play. I seem to have something that looks slightly different, or if it's got weird attachments on it, or I've got a weird little funky robot head hanging off the side of my gun. That has to do with Blacklight's customization system. So right now I'm in the customization menu of Blacklight Retribution, and I'm going in to take a look at my main weapon here. Now each gun has a different receiver set up for it. I currently had the heavy assault rifle, but I'm going to equip the regular assault rifle now. And within the assault rifle you can change the muzzle, which is this thing at the end of the barrel. You can change the barrel itself. And just watch as this assault rifle changes in appearance. Like, check out the barrel. Like, I'm going through the different barrels. And on the right side, you can see all the stats reflected depending on the different kinds of barrel. Each attachment on the gun changes the stats of the weapon. So you can really take the basic assault rifle setup and turn it into something that is extremely accurate at long range, but potentially doesn't do as much damage. Or something that's very, very hard hitting in close quarters, but just really not too accurate at all. You can do that to any gun, and you can really change up the setup to just how you want to play. It's amazing. Now I just went through my magazine options there, and I picked one that was good for fast reload, but if I want, I can put a 70 round double drum magazine on the assault rifle and give it a ton of bullets. Right now I'm putting a 2x scope on there. They have a whole bunch of really cool looking holographic futuristic scopes. And then you have the stock also, which has a lot to do with how the gun handles recoil and stuff like that. And you can really go through and pick the right one for you. And it's actually a lot of fun. You know, I found that I would change up a gun to something that I thought would be good, go play with it in a round, like it, but think that maybe the recoil's a little bit too much, or maybe it's just not quite accurate enough. Go back out after the round and add on a different attachment to try and tweak it just a little. You can get a cool sidearm. You can get different sidearms. You can have a shotgun for a sidearm. You can have Magnum style 6-shooter. And furthermore, you can actually customize the way that your character looks, from their leg armor, their chest armor, their helmet. And that will affect how fast they run, how much damage they can take, how fast that their HRV visor recharges, what their stamina is like, how much damage a headshot will do to them. Different helmets have different resistances against headshot damage. And rather than giving you a 1 or 2 sentence description about what the armor does, like this makes you tougher, they give you that description, but in addition to that, they give you all the nitty-gritty stats that all the weapon tweakers and playstyle tweakers want to know. They tell you how much stamina, how much health, all this stuff, how much it's affecting you in every different way. And this is awesome. They don't make you go digging for it, finding spreadsheets, reading forums, any of that stuff. They just give you all the data up front. And this is something that is truly awesome about Blacklight. They want the players to tweak their characters, to customize them to fit their playstyle as exactly as possible. Alright, let's check out some mech gameplay now. To get a mech, you go up to these little equipment terminals that are located around the maps, and after you have enough points, you can get this little signaler device, and you point it on the ground in a location that has an open sky above it, and this mech will drop down from the sky. You can actually watch it drop down. I didn't watch it there. And then you've got this big mechanized robot that actually has little jets on the back that you can use to move around much faster and just decimate anybody that gets in your way. Now, to try and balance out the mechs, they are not allowed to use the HRV visor. So basically, you don't really know where your opponents are going to be. But if they shoot you like they do now, the damage indicators definitely tell you where the shots are coming from. And you can turn to pretty much waste them. And you can absorb so much damage with the mech. Now, the interesting thing about the mech is another way to try and give them a weak spot is that when you put up the HRV visor as an infantry, you will see a glowing point on the mech suit, which will let you know which is the weak part of the mech to shoot at. Each mech has a different weak spot, and it's basically randomly generated every time. So if you shoot that, you'll do extra damage to it. That being said, I found the mechs to be a little bit overpowered, and I should probably start calling them hard suits because that's what they're called in the game. But as it is, the hard suits are, although slow and kind of annoying in that respect, they are just so hard to take down unless the team is making an organized effort. Now you can buy rocket launchers from equipment terminals, which do a lot of damage to the mechs, but you got to spend money to do that, and you have to go and find an equipment terminal. So sometimes you get caught in the crossfire in between, and the mech's already had enough time to do some serious damage by the time anybody can grab a rocket launcher and really flank the mech. Now of course a combined infantry effort can definitely take down a mech over time, as you just saw here, but not before getting a ton of kills. Now, Blacklight Retribution isn't exactly a perfect game. It is a free-to-play game, and it's got a lot of awesome production value behind it, and frankly, if you have a PC that can handle this game, you should go try it out, because it's just a lot of fun for really not needing to spend any money. Now you can spend your money, of course, because it does have a market system, and there's a lot of ways to get equipment and stuff without having to get experience. It's definitely not a pay-to-win game though, which is nice. Pretty much every weapon you can get in the game that gives you an advantage, you can get with experience. Most of the stuff that they make you buy, or is rather has a price on it that you can only get with money, is more aesthetic things, or things that just make you look cooler. Now of course I had to try out the money market system and see how much money it costs to buy stuff and what it actually equated to. And you buy things with Zen, and it turns out that about 1,000 Zen is about $10 of real world money. And at first I thought things were rather cheap, like it was telling me it only took 25 Zen to buy this barrel attachment, so I was like, alright, that's 25 cents for a barrel, another 25 cents for a magazine that I like, maybe 50 cents for a piece of armor. It's really not too much, and then I realized that I was only unlocking those pieces of equipment for one day. Now if you want to start unlocking things permanently, it costs a lot more money or a lot more in-game experience. Again, you can get all this stuff permanently with in-game experience aside from the aesthetic things. But if you actually want to buy a weapon attachment permanently or a piece of armor permanently, all of a sudden the price goes way up. A single piece of armor, a single part of a weapon starts costing $3, $4, $5 just to get a permanent unlock. If you want to build a whole gun, meaning the muzzle, barrel, all the attachments for it, you could end up spending $20 or even more to get those pieces of equipment permanently. So I was actually pretty surprised by how much stuff ended up costing if you want the permanent unlocks. Again, I can't hold too much against the guys who made Blacklight Retribution, because you can still do all this stuff for free. It's just going to take you a very long time. For example, if I wanted to permanently unlock a stock to a gun, I would have to play something like 20 to 25 rounds to get enough experience just to get a piece of a gun for the life of my character. Now before making this game review, I decided I wasn't just going to play it for a few hours and then go ahead and make a video review. I played it for over a week. I definitely achieved a higher level while playing, and I noticed that when you use the quick join option, maybe it's just in my head, but it seems like they pair you with higher level players the higher level you get. So when I first started playing, I was actually having an easy time dominating the round, and then later on I ran into some tougher competition. But what I did notice after playing in some servers with some high level competition is that everybody who's gotten the mechanics of the HRV visor down very, very well is now fully aware of where everybody is on the map, and all of a sudden the game just turns into a camp fest where you know somebody's around a corner, they know you're around the corner, they're just waiting with a bolt action sniper rifle pointing at the head level, waiting for you to pop around that corner, and then you just get taken out instantly. I noticed that the high level gameplay seems to kind of suffer because of the HRV visor. It was very cool early on when people were more just running around and gunning, but the top level players are all so aware that they're just not going to run around corners anymore. So all of a sudden you get into a game with a lot of good players and the gameplay actually gets very boring. You get a lot of people camping, you get a lot of situations where you got 3 guys just watching one corner and there's no way around because they can watch every single area of the map extremely well and they know if somebody's flanking them. So it sort of takes a lot of the skills that you learn from other games where you want to try and anticipate where your opponent's going to go, sneaking up on people, all that kind of stuff. It takes that and sort of throws them out the window because of the HRV visor, and that is something that's actually kind of a big deal and really does negatively affect the gameplay. That being said, I'm still really enjoying the game. There's a huge amount that you can customize and learn about the game. I haven't even scratched the surface with this review. There's just so much you can attach onto your character and so many different tools and abilities you can use to really craft a character that fits your playstyle perfectly. If you have a PC that's definitely gaming capable, go check out this game. It's free to play, you don't have to spend any money, but if you get really into it, you might want to drop a few bucks on helping you unlock some of the cooler equipment faster. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know if you want to see any more Blacklight Retribution gameplay on my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.